We are back officially on the show, and I'll prove it by playing the music. This this is the Triangle Talk. No, see, that's not the way it goes. I know how it goes, but I keep screwing it up. And I know how this goes. I don't need a script.
You want me to write it down for you?
Actually, what I'm going to have you guys do at some point is do this yourself. And you're also going to have to figure out where. Well, of course, today Bobby is in the studio above the garage in the bonus room on the north side of Cary at the foot of Mount Belzoni.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, but whatever that is. But Dexter, you'll have to figure out where you are and what clever show introduction you want. So just review the way this is professionally done here with the music. From the studio, in the bonus room, above the garage, on the north side of Cary, at the foot of Mount Belzoni, this is the Triangle Talk Show. And we are at episode 37. It's a bull session. BS. That's what the BS is for, bull session. November 18th, 2018. News you don't use. I'm positing that as the subject for the show. I'm this guy, Gary Pierce, along with this guy, this guy, Dexter Jackson. Hey, Dexter, how you doing?
What's up? How you doing?
And this guy, this guy, Bobby McRaven. Hey,
What's
Bobby.
happening?
Everybody's excited. You're drinking the Monster and
Yes.
pumping up.
This show is sponsored by Monster.
Triangle Talk Show brought to you by Monster.
You know, I tried to get them
Suck
as a sponsor for my podcast, and you know what they said? Absolutely not.
You have a sponsor, right?
I got 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Who?
I have a company called Century Martial Arts. They are the leading supplier in the martial arts world. They've been around since like 1980, so they've been around forever. They were one of Chuck Norris's big like uniform and martial arts everything that Chuck Norris had. That was through Century. And then I got a company called Fighters Inc., who kind of does the same thing, but they have a lot more like new age type like kickboxing and stuff like that, gloves and uniforms and stuff. And then I got another one I can't really talk about yet, but there's another one in the works.
Coming soon to the, let me see if I got this. It's the Sport Karate Radio.
You got it.
Podcast. SportKarateRadio.com.
SportKarateRadio.com.
Yeah. Have you got a name for yours, Dexter, when you start your barbershop-oriented? Don't say what it is unless you've got it registered.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
TBD.
Okay. You got something in the works.
In the works.
Yeah. And so when you start that, have you got, how are you going to do this? You can have co-hosts or regular guests?
I love co-hosts. So typically I would just rely on the co-host, maybe 2, I would say. I would love the guy and a girl. Like, a guy and a girl would be the perfect situation.
Kind of like I was trying for here.
Right.
Yeah. Which I mentioned in the warm-up, but I didn't mention in this show. This person here, Katie Keenan, has bailed out of the show, unfortunately. She was not feeling well today, so she sent me a note, but she also said just the way her life is going, not going to be able to keep up regular participation. We might get her back at some point, which would be good. But so it's back to being a total sausage fest. But in terms of the mix, they taught you this in college, right? You want
What's that?
You want guys and girls and men and women and in when you put together a show.
Yes.
I'm trying to see it.
I'm trying to figure out where this is going here.
I'm just trying to figure out his level of education, what they're teaching about broadcasting in school these days. They don't call it broadcasting anymore. Just media.
Yeah. Like the school I went to, they were pretty big. We did the Minnesota hockey broadcast. So so Minnesota State University, they had a hockey network, and it was completely ran out of my school, like a smaller D3 school. It was just interesting.
I had a buddy that went for media up there, and I think it was Minneapolis. Is that where you went?
I was in Mankato, like an hour and a half out of Minneapolis. But I'm sure there's a lot of media just in Minnesota in general, like in the cities.
Yeah.
It's a huge hub.
Yeah, I had a buddy who went to Minneapolis and got his degree up there, and then he just ended up filming some of the U.S. Open with Serena Williams, and he was at Lambeau Field a couple of weeks ago, I think, just kind of as like a backup guy for camera work.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
he
dope.
loves it. He did a promo for me back when I used to own a business. He did a promo for me, man. That guy he's sick. Just a great job with everything he does with video.
That's dope. All I learned was the replay. They put me on the replay machine, and then they put me on like the main camera. I just pan back and forth all day. It was cool.
There's a lot of work in sports for broadcasting. It's good area to get into. So I got a question for Bobby about his sponsors, and then I want to go back and ask you about the show that you'll be doing. So do you make real money from having sponsors on the podcast?
Whatever I make, I just put right back into the podcast. Like right now, what I started doing when I first started was I used to sell like a year membership, and for the year, whatever we produced, you had your name on it, and we put you on the website and everything like that. And I had professional ads created for them, so like commercials during the show, and I put those in there. And then once I started to get the hang of things, I changed it from a yearly membership type based sponsorship to a seasonal, because we do our shows in seasons. So right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to get sponsors for season 3 coming up in January, and I'm selling just a season sponsor package. And with that, you get, your ad produced and you put it in the show. You get stuff on our website and just all sorts of other special stuff.
What kind of an audience do you promise them? How many folks do you?
I don't promise them anything. I give them the stats from the quarter before, and they take a look at my media packet that I created, and I just send it over to them. And I'm like, if you guys like what you see, we'd love to have you as a sponsor. This is what we've had last quarter. And if they ask for previous quarters, then I send them the old media packets that I did from previous quarters before that.
Do you? So you don't promise them an audience, but you tell them what you've had. Is it hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands?
Well, last week when you and me talked after the show about that PodTrack thing to throw into my website, which I need to talk to you about, by the way.
Okay.
I can only tell through Squarespace, which is where I host my website, how many RSS subscribers I have, and that's what I put in the media packet.
Okay, so those are folks that went to the website.
I looked on the RSS for the blog.
Okay, yeah, I guess I could look at that. I'm gonna have to learn that a little bit better.
Yeah, so that's what I threw in that media packet, which is a couple thousand.
Okay, so a couple thousand people out there, you can get advertisers if they're interested. Because that's not enough to get any money for a TV show.
No,
but for niche marketing.
Yeah, and that's the big problem is that like this is such a niche market that there's only one other guy that I know of that does anything like this within just sport karate, just in general.
Yeah, who else are they going to go to advertise?
Yeah, and he doesn't even have any advertisers on there anyway. So I'm kind of like the only guy that's really taking it seriously and producing ads and having like a show layout and having a specific show and not just sitting in front of a camera talking.
And how many people out there in the world do this?
Well, the big issue with sport karate right now is we're so divided that it's impossible to tell. For instance, it's like, I hate to keep going back to sports, but it's the easiest way to describe this, is if you have like the NFL and you had, let's say, 25 other different leagues that are just as competitive going against the NFL. And you can't really tell because, there's just so many people out there competing in so many different leagues. And we're at the point where there are really no way to tell how many people are competing in this league and that league and this league to get an accurate number.
Does anybody guess?
No.
It's like, are there millions of people doing this or just?
I wouldn't say there's millions. And the other problem that you have too is how do you define sport karate?
Yeah.
Like if you go to a tournament, obviously it's sport karate, but if you practice flips, it's not very practical, but it's still used in martial arts. So I mean, you're kind of practicing a sport right there, even if you're not at a competition. I mean, there's so many different words that you have to define before you can actually look at what sport karate actually is, if you want to like set in stone definition.
Would it be? Go ahead, Dexter.
So the sport is that the difference between that? Is that just that you compete, that you're actually going against someone else as opposed to just honing the craft, or?
Yeah, I mean, martial arts, I mean, was intended for self-defense when it first came out, and then it evolved into something bigger and better with competitions and tournaments to learn, who's better at fighting or who's better at, doing this or that. And then, I mean, people go into karate class and they learn karate, but they don't go to tournaments. So, I mean, there's two different sides of things. You go and you learn martial arts, or you go and you learn martial arts and you end up competing and you fall in love with competition.
Right, got you.
Are you a little piece of mixed martial arts? When somebody's interested in karate, that's a part of mixed martial arts, I guess.
As, like me personally?
Well, any adherent to the sport, anybody who likes it.
Well, I mean, I use the word karate very loosely, and when I say karate, everybody thinks of martial arts, and that's technically what it is. But karate is a specific type of martial art. Mixed martial arts, just, in general, is mixed martial arts. You're mixing different styles of martial arts and creating kind of your own style of martial arts. So when I was a kid and I grew up, I was learning mixed martial arts. It was specifically called American Freestyle. So by the time I got my black belt, I knew a little bit of judo, jiu-jitsu, aikido, kempo, taekwondo, kickboxing, boxing, and wrestling, as well as a few other things there. But you can specifically go and learn taekwondo at a taekwondo school. Like right now, I teach at a specifically taekwondo school, and that's what we teach. So we're not teaching throws. We're not teaching, like arm bars and stuff that you see in the UFC. We're teaching, the majority of the time, we're teaching them how to kick and kicking combinations and stuff like that.
Are people learning this for defense or just fun?
No, it's so watered down now that you can learn martial arts only for self-defense. And it's become so specific on, okay, I want to learn how to do UFC stuff. I want to go fight in a cage.
What's UFC?
Ultimate Fighting Championship. You never heard of UFC?
Barely.
That's when they go into the cage and they have the gloves, and that's pretty much it, and they, just fight it out.
To the death.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, like if somebody wants to do that, then they can go to literally a UFC gym if you have one around you. Otherwise, you learn mixed martial arts, and if you want to learn how to kickbox, you can go to a kickboxing school. If you want to learn how to do self-defense, you can go to pretty much any martial arts school in the entire world, and they're going to have some sort of a self-defense curriculum that they believe in to teach you how to defend yourself against whatever they choose to focus on.
And then there's movies.
Where you
learn that it's got nothing to do with real martial arts. It's movie martial arts. I mean, I've heard stars say they've learned movie martial arts.
Yeah,
karate.
I mean, it's martial arts, but it's acting. So, like, if you were to get hit in the nose, chances are you're probably not going to stand back up and just be okay and have your nose straight and no blood coming out. So if somebody gets hit in the nose and their nose breaks in the movies, they stand back up and they're okay, and they may have a little blood dripping. But in reality, if I kick you or punch you in the nose, you're going to be crying.
Yeah. If you do the slow-mo, then you'll see that all of those blows miss.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you go slow-mo, if it's a good camera person, which you may know about, you're not going to see the blow. You're going to see the blow go past them, or you can just see, like if I'm going this way and I get hit, I can't do it this way, but you can't see that I'm actually getting hit. It's camera work has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Do you get anybody local that wants to learn how to do that for showbiz?
The place that I work at, I work with a bunch of South Korean people, and they come from Korea, and they've gotten their black belt from Korea. So it's Taekwondo, and there's nothing else special. So nobody really walks in saying, "Oh yeah, I want to learn how to do flips and stuff." But out in like West Coast, California, stuff like that, there's a lot of opportunities for like just learning the movie style of martial arts, if you want to say, with the flips and the tricks and stuff like that. It's called tricking. It's not so much martial arts. It's more flips and stuff.
Yeah. Fun to watch in the movies. Useless for actual
let's not say useless, but very impractical.
You want to do any of this, Dexter?
Look, my experience with the martial arts is when I was in 6th grade, this guy came in for our after school program. His name was like Sensei Hester or something like that. I have no clue like who he was. He gave us like a green belt after 3 weeks, and that was about the extent of that one. So yeah,
a little bit.
I think I was ill prepared to handle myself in the street with his teaching.
Yeah, everybody's done martial arts at some point, I think, and that's the cool thing about it is that, you know, everybody has some sort of, not experience, but knowledge of martial arts where everybody can kind of relate to some extent.
Yep. By the way, you may hear some noise outside. The windows open. It's a beautiful day.
It is.
And now here's Gary with the weather. Traffic and weather together on the, what does my clock say? 16? On the 16s.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful day.
Local on the 16s.
And there's not very much traffic because it's Sunday afternoon.
There was a ton of traffic on my way over here.
Yeah.
I mean, I got your mess. I thought that I was supposed to be here at 3. So I'm watching football and stuff in my chair. And then I look at my messages from you and I was like, maybe it's 2:30. And I look and I'm like, oh, shit. I'm supposed to be there around 2:30. And it was 2:30 then. So I fly over here. Everybody was driving like a jackass. And then I'm like, oh, I got nothing to drink. I need something to drink. So I stop at the gas station, and it's like everybody that's checking out at the gas station knows that I'm in a hurry. And this guy buys like 8 things, and he's like, oh, can I get a bag for that? I'm like, oh, my God.
I want to buy a lottery ticket and 2 packs of cigarettes.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's my 18 different like pieces of gum that I want you to ring up individually. I'm just like, oh, my God.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot this thing in the back of the store. I'll be right back.
Yeah, and I got one thing. I got my drink, and it took like 30 seconds by the time I actually got up there, but it took me 5 minutes to get up to the desk.
This episode of the Triangle Talk Show is brought to you by whining and complaining. It's America's favorite pastime. Did you know that complaining goes directly to the pleasure center of the brain?
I'm very pleased right now.
No, it's well deserved though. That traffic on Friday, it was like 30-minute drive from work, turned to like 50 minutes. I saw 2 accidents. One was right before my exit. One lady curved into the rail or whatever, and then 5 cars just kind of crunched up behind her. Traffic was stuck up. People were driving on the shoulders. It's like nobody like realizes that traffic is not about you. We all in this together.
Everybody drives so selfishly down here. It is amazing.
We can do and we probably will, a whole episode on just complaining about the way people drive.
I can't stand it.
Yeah.
One thing to add on that is that anybody who's going faster than me is a maniac. Anybody who's going slower than me is an idiot.
Yeah. There you go. Truth.
That's right.
And what I need is a bumper sticker on the back of my car, which I don't do, but I should have one that says, I may be slow, but I'm in front of you.
That's clever. I like that.
I've seen that in person. So, Dexter, how long until you start a show?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm trying. I'm just trying to, get ideas together. I've got to really actively be learning about what it is I need to do to start. At this point, I know I need a mic. I need just a decent audio, just some form or something. I was thinking about maybe GarageBand, but I didn't know how well that worked.
GarageBand is pretty good, I think. I've heard good things about that.
So you aiming to do just audio to begin with?
Yeah, audio to begin with, definitely. Got a baby step. We'll get to the visuals.
You've done just audio, but now you want to do video.
Yeah, most of my niche market is on Facebook, and really? I got to produce videos for Facebook.
And I tossed you a note about doing
Skype.
Because I've seen the Skype thing where you can record your Skype conversation. I've never tried that. That may be the easy way in.
Well, that's kind of what we're doing right here, just in a roundabout way, right?
Well, you won't get these fancy split screens and titles and stuff, but I think what will happen on Skype is you get this is a little window, and when we had Katie on last week, this window would switch back and forth. depending on who was talking. Kind of
like,
Hangouts.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I've done Google Hangouts and just recorded the audio from there. And that's what happens with the video.
Yeah. So I think Skype's recording is going to give you something like that.
Yeah, I got an app on my PC called Skype Recorder, MP3 Recorder, or whatever, that pulls the audio part. And one of them has the option of recording the video straight through Skype, and Skype picks it up, and you can just go right in through Skype and say, yes, use this program to record the video. But I've never tried it. I was never interested in video whatsoever.
But now you think you need it.
I need it. I don't want it. I don't, but I need it.
On Facebook, it's video centric, as is YouTube. So
yeah. So we're gonna work on YouTube and Facebook here for this upcoming season, which will be extremely interesting.
Okay, so back to Dexter and your show, we're not going to talk about the potential name because someone would steal your URL. Before I did anything with Triangle Talk Show, I registered triangletalkshow.com. Sucked that up and tried to get it on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/blah, blah, 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 blah. Because you can't get just a simple name anymore.
You just got to have enough subscribers.
100, I think. We're at 37 or something. So, because my other show, the Ham Radio Now show, got youtube.com/Ham Radio Now. I got that right away. Didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, I remember doing that back in the day too.
Yeah.
And now with like Sport Karate Radio, I had to wait some time before I got enough subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah. And I think I may have screwed it up because I think I've registered 2 separate YouTube channels with Triangle Talk Show. And this stuff confuses me. I'm a simple man. My friend, I'm stealing some stuff from my friend Jeff. I'm a simple man. I'm a caveman.
Are you going to use like Skype or something or not Skype, but like a different way to communicate with people? Or are you going to have people like there with you for your show, do you think?
I like to have people there with me typically. I think I have to get there first, like just kind of get to that hurdle when I get there. So first I want 2 co-hosts, like guy and a girl would be prime, and we could just kind of set up here, get just some microphones with a little bit of insulation, just, to keep the sound in. But other than that, yeah, I don't know how I would do a guest yet. I'm not sure how that would go. Is that Skype recorder? Is that good for just audio? In terms of, can you strip the audio at all?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I think the big problem that I ran into was not like latency or anything like that, but I think it was my internet connection where it'd be super choppy. And I talked to Gary last week about it, and I think it's my PC. I don't think it's my internet subscription because I did internet subscriber. I did some research into my computer, and I think my computer's all messed up, but if the internet was good, I think it would be fine. The other thing that I want to do if I can't get video for my podcast with a guest is I'm going to have them call in, because I think calling and using the audio from my phone back into the show is going to be a little bit easier and a little bit less stressful on the internet connection.
Yeah, there's a bunch of ways to do things like that. I don't remember the names of all of them. The folks at the Podcasters Meetup talk about them. There's a service that you can use, and it's probably not free, where you can have your guest talk into a halfway decent mic, and you talk into one, and you're both on this app, and it actually records their end locally. It sends you their end over the line, but if the internet screws up or fuzzes up or drops out or something, they're still recording their side locally.
Talking about Zencaster?
I think that's it, yeah.
It's garbage, don't use it.
Okay.
I've had so many problems with Zencaster.
Other folks have maybe they had better luck, or they just don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But
I think either people love it or they absolutely hate it, and they were just run into problems.
You can try it.
And actually, I think it's free, but you can only use so much space. Because like Gary was saying, it like saves into your Dropbox, and it keeps track of how many like minutes are downloaded from everybody, and you can only use so much. At the end, I was paying probably, I don't even remember what it was, like $5 or $10 a month for unlimited. I mean, it's not expensive, and if you can get it to work for you, I mean, it's fantastic. After trying and trying, I could not get that thing to work for me to save my life.
When you finish with the conversation and not quite hang up, but you're done, it will send you a file of the other guy's side of the conversation, and then you got to put that into like GarageBand or something, Audacity, and line them up. Line them up, and then you've got both sides, and you can do your editing from there. We do not do any editing here on the Triangle Talk Show. What you hear is what you get.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to that. I did editing for 2 seasons, and I'd have maybe 75 different boxes in Audacity. You use Audacity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have just pages full of like tracks and ads and sound effects and stuff, and I'm like, nah, I ain't doing this anymore.
Hours and hours of work.
Yeah.
So what do you think about using Final Cut? Because I used that in school, and I learned that pretty good. The Final Cut Pro program.
I use the Windows program, Premiere Pro, and if I'm going to do any video editing, and these days I'm set so that I don't have to do any video editing on this show. So when this is going to YouTube Live, and when I push the go button, it goes from there. So all the screw ups that I do at the beginning of the show, they're in there. It's in there. It's like ragu. And then when we're done, I just click the button that says stop, and that's the YouTube show. And I'll strip the audio off of that. My post-production work is to strip the audio off of that and make an MP3 file out of it. And even that, I'm just trimming up the beginning and the end to make it clear what's going on when you push the play on a podcast. So that's...
And then that's your actual podcast that goes out to the apps and stuff. Yeah.
And then I build the website, the blog on Squarespace, and get it with the text I want. I try to keep this all to a very minimum amount. I'll do a little bit of Photoshop work to grab a title or something to stick on there. And that's the work.
I thought Final Cut was only for video. Like, I mean, there's audio and everything in there, but I didn't think it was too far in depth as far as audio goes.
It's way overkill for doing audio. What does Apple have an audio program? I know Avid's audio program, their standalone audio is Pro Tools. And Adobe's, the folks that do Premiere, their standalone audio is Audition. And I think that they've got one other.
I think Audition is pretty good. I think I've maybe used that once or twice just on a buddy's computer or something just to check it out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I use Audacity and I love it. It does exactly what I need and it's free.
Yeah, I haven't learned it in depth. I use it for a little bit and haven't learned it in depth. So there's a lot of tools out there to play with.
Okay.
And everything's like a lot of that stuff is free too. So
yeah, Audacity's free.
Yeah, I got a lot of playing around to do, definitely. Just kind of got to dive in.
So what I was tiptoeing around after asking you about who your co-host might be and stuff like that is if you're interested in an old white guy to come by once in a while, say, you young kids, you really don't know what you're doing. I'd be happy to help out.
Oh yeah, I'm 100%.
Oh no, you're not getting on my show. No way.
Were you the guy that posted in what's that Facebook group for podcasters here?
Yeah.
Was that you that posted in there, Dexter?
It was me, yeah. Like I got into it. Like, yeah, some friends brought up the idea to me, and they just said, just find a group and just like figure it out.
Did you send me a Facebook message?
I don't think so, because I did it. I got a few responses, but Gary was just like, yeah, like I got a thing. Let's just like get into it now. And I was like, oh.
Because I meant to ask you last week if that was you, but I forgot. I'm going to check right now. I think we talked like last month.
Did we?
Yeah, I commented on your post, and then I got a message. If that was you, then you sent me a message saying, hey, when do you want to talk about it?
I would check, because I'm not sure. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. That was a while ago, I guess. But
yeah, so I latched on to you right away.
Oh, no, it was Brian McDonald.
Not ringing a bell. There's a lot of folks in that group that don't come to the meetings. We only had about 10 people at the last meeting, and I'd like more podcasters to come. It's fun when you get a big group.
Yeah.
It's fun when you have a small group, but it's fun when you have a big group. What we did at the last meeting was we played a couple of other folks' podcasts and criticized them.
I mean, yeah, that's helpful. I guess if you got other people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like-minded criticism.
It can be hard. Mostly what we ended up with, the biggest thing is the folks that, there were two of us. I tossed in one of mine and somebody else tossed in theirs. And we listened to someone else's that was a real popular one that, had hundreds of thousands of downloads, who sounded the least professional of all three. But the problem most people run into if they've written a script is that they're reading the script really fast and they're talking way too fast, and you have to really kind of slow them down. And also when they're reading, they sound like they're reading. They don't sound like they're talking.
I'm a firm believer in no scripts.
Yeah. I did the show with Julia a bunch of shows ago, and what we said was the people in the audience don't realize that this is a fully scripted show. Yeah. Everything we're saying is we're reading off of a script, off a teleprompter. So it looks like Dexter's not reading off a teleprompter. It looks like Bobby is not, and it looks like I'm not, but we all are. Everything, even what I'm saying right now, is on a script, and we are just that good at making it sound like we're not reading.
You damn right.
Dexter's going, what? What? Nobody let me in on this joke. All right, so yeah, so if you want an old white guy every once in a while, I mean, a really old white guy, it'd be fun to do.
If you want a younger white guy, I'm free too. Just can't be on Sundays.
True.
We're busy.
I need to watch my football on Sundays. This is a stretch already.
Oh, we're cutting into a game?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I'm waiting for Dexter to say something, but yeah.
Oh, it must be a Green Bay game.
I got nothing to say. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they lost pretty bad on Thursday.
But that's life. You live, you fight another day, take another win, probably another loss, maybe another loss. We'll see.
I doubt if we'll win anymore with Mike McCarthy. The guy needs to go. Did you see who the Cleveland Browns are looking for to hire as their head coach?
Who's that?
What's her name? Condoleezza
Rice?
Rice, yeah.
No.
Yeah, what was she? She was like the Secretary of State or something like that?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
I'm not rolling. I can't buy it. No.
Yeah, but okay, so here's what people don't know. I didn't know this until I talked to my dad this morning. And I told my dad that, and he's like, well, what a lot of people may not realize is that she's one of the people on the college football board committees, and she is one of the people that says yay or nay to letting teams into certain things. I don't even know. But apparently she's pretty smart at that.
I think she ran Stanford University for a while or something.
Really?
Not their sports program, the whole university.
Yeah, but when I first saw that name, I said that same thing. I'm like, what in the hell? These guys are going even farther off into the deep end here.
I'm looking. Yeah, they want to interview Condoleezza Rice.
Yes.
She's wild. Very smart lady.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure she's very smart. It's just how smart is she at play calling and and all that stuff.
They want to make her head coach?
Yeah.
How legendary would it be if Condoleezza comes in and just reforms the Browns franchise, championships after championships, like Patriots level of championships?
Yeah, wouldn't you feel like a dumbass then?
Baker Mayfield, all the way. Baker and Condoleezza.
Yeah. That's a combo that I would never have imagined. The guy's got a police video. The guy is what did he do in college that ticked everybody off after a touchdown? He didn't do like a Randy Moss where he mooned the crowd or something, but
they pretend like taking shit or something.
No. He did like a DX thing, like suck it to the other team, something like that. And then if he gets paired up with Condoleezza, man, it's a combo I would have never expected.
No idea what these guys are talking about.
Okay, Gary. So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
This is kind of sports, but it's more so like morals. So I don't know how familiar you are with the NBA, like the Golden State Warriors. They're like a top team, been the top team for like 5-6 years, just absolutely dominant. So one of the guys, Draymond Green, he's been there from the start, and he's just the heart and soul of the team. They beat Kevin Durant's team in the finals. They were down 1-3. They came back and beat them.
His
After
old
that
team.
series, his old team. So after that, Draymond Green called Kevin Durant to come join his team. So after Kevin Durant's team lost, he called him to come join his championship basketball team, and now they're like this dynasty. But recently they got in an argument because they made a play that both of them didn't agree with, and so Draymond's like, "Hey Kevin, you don't tell me to give you the ball. If I'm not giving you the ball, it's because I'm making a better play. Yada yada yada. We won before you. We don't need you." And now he's on his way out. So I guess my question to you is, how do you feel like? Sorry, I got lost in thought. but
it's a complex story.
It's a complex story. But my question to you is, how do you feel about that? Like, in a sport, teams just souping up to just beat everybody, as opposed to trying to compete, just go up against the best.
Yeah, so like in baseball, the Yankees had a dynasty for decades.
Yeah.
And Dallas Cowboys had a dynasty for a while. Mm-hmm. America's team. Yeah, so I guess, I mean, I don't have a moral issue with it. As sports fans, which I've never been, but I pay attention. What you want is fun games to watch. Mm-hmm. And if one team is romping over everybody else, then it gets to be less fun. It's fun for the fans of that team. Mm-hmm. And maybe for people that live in a city that doesn't have its own professional sports team in that sport. Raleigh doesn't, although I guess we kind of
Canes.
In football, though, it's down in Charlotte. I guess we adopt them as our own. It's the Carolina Panthers, not the Charlotte Panthers.
Yeah, I think there's probably more Pittsburgh fans here though than Panthers fans. I've seen a lot of Pittsburgh fans.
Yeah. Really? In any case, those folks can get on board with the dominant team. But if you live in Chicago, you're going to get real bored with football if the Bears always lose. Which when I lived there, they always lost.
My foot is only halfway in the NFL anyway. I stopped caring after we lost the 2006 Super Bowl. I was like, you would never do that to me again.
Yeah. But then I guess I also don't like artificial manipulation, layers and layers of regulations that make it impossible to do that. My friend Jeff was describing the state of NASCAR. In fact, we talked about that quite a bit over the past couple of years. That NASCAR has regulated themselves into losing audience like crazy.
How?
The races aren't any fun anymore. Everyone is the playing field is so even. The driver's skill is less.
Anybody can win.
Yeah. It's I guess it's more determined on who crashes.
Anybody can win unless your name is Paul Menard. That guy can't win.
So what is the fun in the NASCAR? Because I've never been that into NASCAR, and I've been intrigued with the appeal. So you said it's not fun anymore. What was the fun aspect that's not there anymore?
The races aren't competitive. Like Bobby says, anybody can win, but it's not based on anything other than just maybe some luck.
Yeah. Pit stops play a big factor into that, and then obviously the driver's talent. But I mean, as far as driver's talent go, everybody's pretty even. I've never been a huge NASCAR fan, but I mean, I respect it. I mean, if it's on, I guess I'll watch it if nothing else is on. But I don't think it's gotten any better or any worse. I still think it's just another sport.
Yeah,
it used to be. I guess it's still really big, but it used to be bigger, and it's losing audience. The stands aren't full anymore. So I guess I can't really explain well enough because I'm not that deep into it. Other than Jeff is saying that these, they have made it so uncompetitive and so unfun to watch. So it's just 20 cars or so, 25 cars, going around in a circle, bumper to bumper, with not much excitement.
Tell you what, though, I would buy a NASCAR ticket over an NBA or an NFL ticket in a heartbeat.
Really?
Absolutely, yes.
Why that?
Everything that I have ever heard from anybody going to a NASCAR event is insane. Just the power of the cars flying past. I mean, those things are probably pushing, 600-700 horsepower? That's just a guess. I have no idea. And they're flying past you. And I mean, there's so many different things going on, like outside of the stadium and inside of the stadium. And, you know, it's a whole day event compared to like an NFL thing. Unless you go tailgating, it's just an afternoon. It's not a whole day event.
Yeah. I've been to a couple of Coca-Cola 500, 600s down at Charlotte.
Is that like a minor league?
No, that's the big NASCAR thing on
Is it really?
Memorial Day weekend. I've been to a couple because, again, my friend Jeff's big NASCAR fan, or at least he has been. And so I went with him. It was, I think it's like $125 or something for a halfway. Most of the seats are halfway decent. The stands don't put you so far away that you can't see what's going on.
Right.
And I enjoyed myself. You definitely want to bring hearing protection because you'll be deaf afterwards if you don't. And the race itself was not the least bit interesting, other than these cars are whizzing by at close to 200 miles an hour or so.
But the stuff that's happening outside of that race is pretty fun.
Well, I'm not sure what that was, other than the food was pretty good.
The food and the vendors and everything.
Yeah, and they have a bit of a show beforehand. And we always left when there was a lap or two to go to beat the traffic. So, because pretty much knew what was going to happen unless the leader crashed.
Yeah.
So we would bail. I guess I never saw the end of one. I'll tell you what was interesting to me, because I do this ham radio thing. All the drivers have two-way radios, so they can talk to their crew. Mm-hmm. And they're on frequencies you can tune in with any scanner.
Really?
Yeah, so you can get lists of the frequencies and the drivers and stuff, and I put them into my scanner radios. So I could listen to all the drivers. You can't listen to them all at once because there's too much going on.
Yeah.
But pick a couple of drivers and you listen to them talk back and forth to their crew, and it gets pretty interesting.
That's crazy cool.
You can listen to the Motor Racing Network, and during the commercials, they talk to the scanner fans in the audience.
Oh, really?
In the stadium. We're going to commercial now. We'll be right back. Okay, now you guys on the scanners. Here's here's things we can't say on the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that made it fun for me. I didn't have any dogs in the hunt to root for to want to be doing better.
I tell you another thing to go watch and buy a ticket for is Monster Jam. That is fun as hell.
And that
are those the monster trucks when they just crush? Like I would go to one of those. That's not like NASCAR on my list. I'm with that.
The old place that I used to work at, they did every couple months we used to do like a group thing, and one of the things was not NASCAR, Monster Jam when it was at PNC, and that was so fun. That was a lot of fun.
Also, hearing protection.
Yeah, I mean, it was only 120 decibels up at the very top where we were sitting, so...
Yeah, you don't want that hitting your ears for 2 hours.
I did. I loved it.
Okay, I will speak up for you. You got the headphones on. You got them cranked up?
Yeah, they're all the way up.
Okay.
So with those radios, is that a way that... Could other drivers use that? So, if another driver wanted to intercept their frequency, would they gain anything by...
I'm sure they do. I don't know. I don't know that they learn much.
I bet you they got somebody sitting in the back truck behind the thing just listening.
It sounds too easy. If there's a free access to the drivers that a fan could get, I'm like, I might. You don't need that.
I guess it will tell you, because the driver will get instructions on, okay, you're going to pit on the next lap. That could be valuable information for a driver that's really competitive in the same lap. As you said, the things you do that determine whether you're going to win or not is calculated things like pit stops and refueling and changing tires, or
what they're coming into pit for.
Yeah,
to see if there's any problem. Like, okay, you're leaking fuel. I mean, knowing that would be pretty big, I would imagine.
And the drivers will be saying things like, I think my right tire is running real rough, or I'm not feeling good in these turns, things like that.
Yeah.
So, I guess those things could be very useful.
Okay, so speaking of cars, one of the topics that I put in for last week that we never got to is self-driving cars.
Yeah.
And I watched your episode with, who was it, your wife that we're talking about self-driving cars?
Yeah, because she's got she bought a used Mercedes. It's 2 years old. It's a 17 model, but it was built in the
16.
sold in the end of 16, and it's got a lot of the driver assist features. It's definitely not self-driving,
Right.
but it's got the lane keeping, where it will hold the lane if it sees sees you're drifting. It will literally pull you back into the middle of a lane, or pull you off onto an exit ramp, apparently.
Yeah.
And the distance holding.
And she was nervous about that, right?
Well, I just drove it quite a bit this weekend because I had some trouble with my car, and so it didn't make me nervous. The thing that worries me is when I go back to my car, you get used to the car doing things for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go back to my car, which, it doesn't have anything in it, I'm lucky it's got heat, and it's not going to do any of those things. So.
Okay, so I got some info here. When do you think the first self-driving assists were developed? What year do you think that was? Not put into production or anything, but just developed and thought of and started to be applied to test vehicles.
Now more than just cruise control, right?
Yeah. Lane assist and judging distance and stuff like that.
I'll bet that
2007, call it.
Yeah, I was going to go for about 10 years ago.
Yeah, 2004. They had a specific race in, I think it was California or Arizona in the desert. It was called the DAPA challenge.
Oh, the
or whatever.
DARPA challenge. Yeah, okay. So I knew about the DARPA challenge.
Yeah, and all these teams came in and the government was sponsoring it.
Yeah. But mostly the cars would drive off into ditches, and it was a mess.
Yeah, at first, yeah. I don't think there was anybody who won the first one that they held. But yeah, that's where a lot of it got pioneered, and then what is that? 14 years later, they're in production on cars now. So I would bet my money that they are pretty darn safe.
Okay, I'm going to YouTube it. It's only telling me back to 2015, but let's make it.
It says 2004 right there.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's go. Let's see what happens. And Wikipedia. I want video. Let's see. I have no idea what it is I'm looking at.
Young military personnel out of harm's way. Booyah!
Okay, so we're looking.
Oh, he turned.
We're looking at, I don't know, it looks like a Hummer or something with the top pulled off and then all kinds of electronics on top.
This would be a sport that I would not want to go see. I do not trust those vehicles staying in the lines.
You don't want to be in the audience.
No.
Yeah,
Big barricade in front of you. Okay, show us something fun. Show us the thing driving. It's not going fast. It's driving on a desert road out in the middle of no place.
Okay, green flag on Amador 2004, ladies and gentlemen.
These things do not look like street vehicles. They look like ATVs.
This is an incredibly boring sport.
I'm sorry.
At that point, 2004, they're just kind of hoping it stays on track.
Uh-oh. He's going off-road. Oh, he turned back in.
Yeah, do the play-by-play.
Yeah, there he goes. Oh, he's flying fast. Look at him go. That's a top speed of 25 miles an hour. Look at that flake flying in the wind. That guy's just booking it.
Out in the desert somewhere. You can tell. You can tell how long ago this was. It's a helicopter, not a drone, that's on top of them.
Yeah, no, those drones are everywhere.
Now this one is a more. It's got full of junk on it, but it's a more stock vehicle looking SUV type or truck.
At least from the outside.
I guess a pickup truck with a camper shell on it.
I wonder how long this event lasts.
I'm already bored, so too long.
Yep, me too. Okay, so the first self-driving car that was relevant to what we know today, that did a race lap around a circuit track. When do you think that was? It was a fully productional car, and it did a racetrack, and it completed without any drive, no human interference whatsoever. It did it on itself. What year do you think that was?
It's later than 2004.
Yes.
So that's our first clue.
2008.
I'll go with 12.
Yeah, 2011, 2012. It was
trash.
at least it was a
Yes.
2011, 2012 BMW 330i. And they filmed that on that Top Gear show, the UK version, Top Gear. And it did the Top Gear track without any, like, the guy was sitting behind the wheel, but he didn't touch anything, and he was freaking out the whole time. But it finished it. It didn't crash. It didn't do anything, and it was a fast lap. So I don't know if you guys watch Top Gear at all, but it's one of my favorite shows.
I've heard of it. I haven't actually tuned into it. I think I paused on your screen. Or you're paused on mine.
You are live. You are making video. So I'm not sure what's going back to you wrong. I wanted to look at a later DARPA challenge to see how they'd improve. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah, 2015. Yeah, I'm not seeing highly useful stuff here on YouTube.
Can you pull up that 2011, 2012 Top Gear?
Well, let me look at the one DARPA challenge from 2015 real quick. Okay, it's not cars, it's robots.
We took a nasty spill.
They got bored with
yesterday
cars, I
that
guess.
Yeah.
We know caused some structural damage.
What the hell is that guy wearing on his head? Pause the video. Oh, can you go back? What the hell was that guy wearing on his head? He was wearing a monkey.
I see what you're saying.
Go for it. Yeah.
A beaver, a chipmunk.
A robot falling over.
We took a nasty spill
Right here.
yesterday.
He's wearing a beaver on his head.
Oh, that guy there. Yeah.
What in the hell?
So all this fancy high-tech stuff that they're doing, and your eye is attracted to this guy wearing a hat with a bear or a beaver or something on it. Okay. Cool. So what am I looking for? What did you want me to find?
Top Gear, 2011, 2012, BMW 330i.
Yeah, BMW 523i.
That might
2011 Top Gear.
So, you could probably just search self-driving.
I think they're just reviewing the cars here.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Astonishing. And that, sadly, is all we've got time for. We have to end the show. Good night.
No, there's more on car controls. No, honestly, okay.
Okay, I have no idea what we're looking at, but let me...
It's a four-door BMW 330 saloon, and what I'm going to do now is take it for a spin. BMW say...
I guess this is Top Gear.
It is, yes.
Our track. It can actually do...
And that's their very own racetrack that they got, which is pretty crazy.
Okay, so now we're seeing the guy get started. We're gonna get takedowns galore for
that
YouTube
guy's
on this.
Yeah, this car is redlining too, so I mean it's not driving conservatively.
The first corner brake, please brake, brake, brake! Brake, brake! It is!
Okay, yeah.
Believe this!
I wish they'd have more of the car and less of the guy that's sitting going crazy, but there we go. Yeah, okay, so it's booking.
Gotta have a show.
They're showing his feet off the pedals.
It's going to go hard on the brakes. It has. There it is. I'm not doing that. My foot is still nowhere near the pedals. It's turning in.
Okay, so that's more impressive.
Yeah, that's like actually racing. It's not just, cruising highway speeds or anything. So,
And that's still 2011?
2011, 2012, yeah.
So 7 years ago.
Yeah.
They made a little more progress since then.
Yeah, but I mean, generally, if you just look at everything that this thing is doing, I mean, there wouldn't be really anything more advanced, at least for, your normal person that drives on the highway that they could really think of.
Yeah. So as I was driving this, my wife's Mercedes, I'm thinking, what situations would I get into there that a self-driving car would not do what I want it to do? And if it's one of those that has no driver controls at all, how do I make it do what I want? I was going to pick some folks up at a parking lot, and I said, I want to back into this parking space so people can come. They know where I'm going to be. It doesn't seem like, you give the car a destination and it goes and drives you there and parks someplace.
Yeah.
How fiddly can you get with where it's going to,
well, the new Tesla will come out of the parking spot and come to you without you even getting in the car. Just use the Tesla app, and the car will come out of the parking spot and pull right up right to where you are.
Yeah, I understand it does it very slowly.
Yeah. And then that new Tesla also has that victory mode where the doors open and it's, the stereo's playing some winning song or whatever, and the lights are flashing and the doors are opening. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So is that only a driving service? Like, that's not going to be a thing that you can own just at home?
Yeah. I've seen them on the highway.
Although
that scares me.
My expectation, I guess, sort of prediction is that as we get into serious self-driving car territory, fewer and fewer people own cars. The fleet will be out there on the road. You want to go somewhere. It's like, and I guess this is Uber's eventual business plan. Get rid of their drivers, and you want to go someplace. You just punch a button on your phone, and a couple minutes later, a car shows up in your driveway. Which then in another couple of generations of home ownership, you won't even have a driveway.
Yeah, you have a landing pad.
A landing pad for your Amazon deliveries.
Yep.
But they have those, like the self-driving cars. They've had those in like London. I remember when I was in like 5th grade, I could see on the internet, it was like a makeshift when they came with a little balloon on the back and they were driving it off a cliff. It looked like a go-kart almost. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, there was that story from, I guess, a year or so ago where an Uber self-driving car that had a safety driver in it, and the safety driver was texting or something, and it killed somebody. The woman came out of no place on a bike, crossing the road where she shouldn't have been, but the car didn't recognize it.
Okay, so here's an idea. What would you want the car to do, and what do you think the car would do is... if there's a bunch of children in front of your car,
I know where he's going with this.
And on either side of you, it's just a lake. You're on a bridge, and there's a bunch of children in front of you, and the car has the decision: kill the children or kill you by going off into the water. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know how they can come up with an answer to that.
I want that option to show up on the screen in front of me.
Who dies? Me, children.
So it takes the onus off of the car company.
Yeah, that's a scary. Like, I don't get the, like you said, yeah, just that decision making ability. I don't know if I trust it. Just because I can't get my laptop to work, my phone stops working after having it for like 2 years. like a car.
You're going 80 miles an hour down Interstate 40, and your little screen in front of you goes into a Windows blue screen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Must reboot. Yeah.
Right. Overheated.
Yeah. And while we're rebooting, we're going to have to do an upgrade.
Yeah.
And
you're stuck on the highway for 30 hours.
That'll be the Apple cars by then.
Yeah.
Because that's happening. Should the flying cars really like make it on the market? Apple's on top of that. Apple, Amazon, I believe it.
People wonder on flying cars how that's going to work because we'll all be crashing into each other. We've seen cities with flying cars before in the movies.
Yeah,
lots of movies in Star Wars movies and the Fifth Element movies. They've all got these cities with traffic lanes of flying cars really going fast and clearly all communicating with each other so they can do this. That's what the flying car of the future will be. It won't be, first of all, it won't be you flying.
Yeah, it'll be a computer.
Yeah, people don't know how. And it'll lift off from your house or whatever pods we live in at that time. and then join just one of these in the air arteries. So it'll still be more efficient, but it's still got to cluster everybody together. Right. So we've seen that. Excuse me. That's not a unusual future. So we've hit our hour. I'd be glad to go on as long as you guys want to. But what we haven't hit was the. Sorry, I don't know how it works. I still don't know how it works. There we go. What we haven't hit was the title of the show.
You don't use.
Yeah. So I was going to explain when I was doing the title, but I got distracted. Squirrel. That I make up these titles before we start the show, and it's more of a hint or a suggestion. If I could edit the show, if I wanted to take the time, we could figure out what the title was going to be. A lot of podcasts do that. They'll figure out what it was they talked about, and they'll stick some interesting subject in the title. But I can't do that because otherwise I have to do some editing, and I don't want to do that. So I took a guess for this one, and we never got there.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good estimate on your part.
It was not. And it rarely is unless what I didn't want to do was force everybody into this. So maybe we'll just stop making show titles. I don't know. We'll see.
It's a growing process. Just put it together. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So let me ask quickly, do you guys watch TV news?
Nope.
I try not to. Yeah, sometimes. Just more so the comedy stuff. So I guess not serious news, just satirical stuff more so.
The late night guys or Comedy Central? Kind
of the late night guys. Like I don't really trust the news that I get from them. I just think it's entertaining, and so it just kind of puts me in the realm of what people think about. I don't really take whatever their side is. I guess I don't really consider that portion of it. I just try to get the idea of what's going on with those things.
So is Trevor Noah doing okay?
He's funny. I like Trevor Noah. Jon Stewart was better. I think Trevor Noah was going to grow.
Yeah.
Like they had the thing where him and Tommy Loren, they were kind of going to be the new Jon Stewart, Bill O'Reilly, but then that kind of faded. You know what happened with Tommy? So,
yeah. I don't get Comedy Central because I don't have cable. I got YouTube TV, so I get a lot of cable channels, but Comedy Central is not one of them. But they put the best parts of the show anyway on. They put them on YouTube, so I catch a lot of that. So do you look, Bobby? Do you look to the comedy shows or the you avoid all of that?
Yes, I do. Unless there's somebody interesting on Jimmy Fallon Jimmy Fallon. I don't watch any.
And Jimmy Fallon is the least controversial of the.
Yeah. I like him the best.
Colbert has made his living off of Trump bashing. Seth Meyers has made his living off of Trump bashing.
Yeah.
Trevor Noah is making his living off of Trump bashing. Are you getting that there's a thread here?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Jimmy Kimmel was a little more middle of the road until he discovered he could make his living off of Trump bashing.
You know, I did watch a video this week of Jimmy Kimmel interviewing Michelle Obama, just being like, what have you guys been doing? We really like you back in your old house. That'd be really nice. I mean, that's the only political thing that I have watched in probably a month.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't follow any of it.
It's mostly comical. Like I think it's just gotten to a point where I don't think people definitely take it seriously, but I think more people have realized that, all right, this is a joke. Like you're not, and it's just with the information age, we have access to so many different points of view, and you just realize that none of you are saying anything productive. It's just a bunch of nonsense.
So I'm guessing newspapers. Nobody subscribes to it.
What's a newspaper?
Yeah.
I'll pick up a newspaper. Like sometimes I'll go to a bar where I work, and they'll have a newspaper, and I might just grab it and like grab a whiskey or something and have lunch. But other than that, I'm not necessarily getting one. I do get the Morning Brew though. That's like a news source. They send just like kind of news blurbs out every morning. It's not even necessarily political, just stuff happening. So like if a new company like IBM purchases something or Google does something, it gives you those alerts. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. On your phone or you can get Google News. You can get news from a million sources, but Google's doing a concentration thing that if you've got I guess it's available on an iPhone. I don't know. I've got old Android stuff, so does a concentration. Facebook was supposed to be everybody's source for news. I don't get any news off of Facebook. What do you guys see?
More so Twitter, not Facebook.
Twitter's very much going to depend on who you're following.
Yeah,
I think it's the same with Facebook.
I guess.
I mean,
maybe why I don't think I'm seeing it, because I don't remember seeing any of that Russian stuff.
Yeah, I don't follow any Russian people on Facebook, so I didn't catch any of that Russian stuff. All I see is karate stuff on my timeline.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fair. I guess your Facebook kind of adapts to what it is, because you early when Facebook first came out, you put it in the likes, and so it kind of shaped your environment.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm looking across my Facebook. I'm just seeing stuff from friends, a few ads.
I mean, if you start liking news stuff, I'm sure you'll start to see more new stuff pop up in your feed.
Yeah. What's crazy about Facebook, they label you by your political affiliation.
Yeah.
And you don't ever have to say that. Like they just tag you like really conservative, neutral, liberal. Like it's crazy. I didn't know that. Actually, there is no middle. I think you either are liberal or conservative, and they just make you very liberal or just slightly liberal, or vice versa.
They're real confused about me.
It's not just them, Gary.
We've been wondering.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'm. Let's see. Oh, this is the first political. I had to get pretty far down the line before. Oh, and it's from Brad Krantz, so of course it's going to be a Trump thing. If there's a movie to be made about Trump's behavior since the midterms, let it be called The Big Sulk. Any other ideas? Brad Krantz is a podcaster now. He's been a broadcaster for a long time in North Carolina. He's out in Greensboro, and he's been on the air in the Triangle market, in the Triad market, in the Charlotte market, with a talk show. And so he's got a talk show now that is with his longtime associate, Britt Woodmeyer, Brad and Britt. That's a podcast. They do it at 8 o'clock at night on Facebook Live. And then they make an audio podcast out of it for about 45 minutes of nonstop Trump bashing. And then it can be, I don't mind Trump bashing. I kind of prefer hearing arguments that have a little more substance, but I can enjoy a little bash session for a while. I don't listen every day because a little goes a long way. Yeah. But I mean, you've heard about Facebook's made a big impact on the election because of all the Russian ads. And I just don't remember seeing any Russian ads.
Well, I don't think you were supposed to really know if they were Russian ads.
Well, I don't remember seeing anything that seemed like a Russian ad. And now Facebook won't work for me at all. I can't scroll my timeline. Facebook just broke. I broke Facebook, apparently.
As it goes to like the Russian ads, I can't really. Yeah, I don't know what they are. Like, I don't know what that kind of content would look like to know if it's a Russian ad, or to Bobby's point, if you're not supposed to know, like I don't know. I just wouldn't know how to identify that really.
Yeah. So this might be a Russian ad. It's okay. Yeah. This person is one of the folks that friended me because of the ham radio connection, I think, and they just spew out sharing all this right-wing stuff. A picture of Michelle Obama. When I became first lady, a lot of people didn't know what a black woman looked like or sounded like. And then there's a black guy below that. No, when you became first lady, a lot of people didn't know what an angry anti-American communist black lady sounded like. That could be a Russian ad.
Oh boy. Okay.
That is wild for a lot of reasons that I won't really delve into.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's designed to be provocative.
Yeah.
And as I understand it, the Russian ads and all of the Russian manipulation stuff is designed to divide America. To push people into camps, which Bobby will not be pushed into because he's paying no attention to it. And then
it's very true. Some
of us are happily joining the camp that we are identifying with. So on my screen right, there we go. Bobby won't be sucked in because he's opted out, and Dexter won't be sucked in because he is hanging firm to the middle.
Indeed. I just like to see what they got to say.
Yeah. You look at something like this and say, this is trying to manipulate me. I will not be manipulated. That's for the audio audience. It's the Obama thing. I don't know who Mark Keith Robinson is.
I don't either. But you just kind of got figures. Like, you would assume that he's probably like in the Republican Party if that's just his stance. But yeah, I don't know who he is. It mirrors like Ben Carson or just just other people in the Republican Party who I don't get it. Like the anti-American thing, I think that's a pretty far-fetched narrative. Even if you don't agree, like anti-American is kind of wild.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I found that because I wanted an example of something on my Facebook page. I've unfriended or unfollowed a lot of the folks that have been sending me that stuff or putting that stuff on, but I keep some of it just to see. And then the next day I'll get a bunch of left-wing stuff.
Yeah. No, it's heavy because like and that's what kind of what I wanted to say when you were talking about the late night host. In a way, that's really the way that you make it. If you're gonna be on late night, if all this Trump stuff is happening, the way that they're gonna keep you on, you're gonna get high ratings. You have got to like bash Trump. And like, I think in the most crazy way, you say, you guys watch Saturday Night Live?
Some.
Well, yeah, you said you watch some. It's never not that. Like typically the opening sketch is a Trump bash. They go like maybe 2 more and it's another Republican bash. Like 6 more and it's another one. It's crazy. Yeah. And so if you were to go in there and not do that, it's just like they just don't have it.
It makes me wonder, and I've put this on some Facebook questions to post now and then. Where do the right wingers go for fun? Where do they go for comedy? Where do they go for? And Bobby, if you're trying to avoid it, I guess you can avoid it.
Yeah, I do a pretty good job of that. Speaking of avoiding, Ryan Fitzpatrick, if you're listening to this podcast, you need to give me some more points on fantasy, man. Come on.
So, I mean, do you find your escape in pretty much all sports?
Anything. And not just sports, I mean, whatever.
Or, primetime TV shows or YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have no desire to watch anything political.
That's fair. I can respect that.
Yeah. Do you watch real TV? Cable TV stuff.
I have cable from my dad's house. My dad has Dish, and I have his username and password, so I get all the Wisconsin stuff. So I mean, Packer games I get every week, and I get all the local stuff that's happening up there, and then whatever's on the rest of the channels that's broadcasted everywhere else too.
So what do you watch? What non-sports stuff do you get?
I don't watch cable TV unless unless it's Sunday and I'm watching football, or Monday or Thursday and I'm watching football. That's the only thing I watch cable for. Otherwise, I'm probably just got something playing in the background on Netflix or Amazon or Hulu or something. I mean, I don't really watch a whole heck of a lot of TV. I'm usually doing something.
Your time was far too valuable for.
I mean, as you can see, one of the reasons why I'm late is because I'm painting a desk, or I'm making a desk because
cool.
I'm using a table and I'm making a desk for my podcast. So,
this let me point out that this is there a camera that'll show it? I guess there really isn't. All this stuff that's behind me is homemade.
You made this?
I did not make that. No, my friend Jeff, who has been on the show now and then.
Okay.
He built all that from scratch.
It's quite impressive.
Yeah, and you guys can't see it because I don't have a camera pointed that way. But it's.
I mean, it's like a big long table with cupboards underneath and cubbies and stuff on top, and it's packed with just stuff.
Yep, I screwed up my my switching program. Let me go make that work again before we say goodbye. I can't switch cameras. If I can't switch cameras, I can't do the show.
Yeah, no.
Uh-oh. No, it just Windows is saying, you want to run that? You got to get permission. Oh, I see what happens. There we go. I pushed the numlock button on my keyboard. So don't. If you're going to switch cameras, I'm doing it with the little number pad, and if I push the numlock button, it doesn't work anymore. So be careful. Okay, so behind me you can see some of this stuff. Yeah, Jeff was out of work for a few months, probably 10 years ago, and I said, well, I want to get this built. He's a good craftsman, so said I'll build it. Took over the garage for 2 or 3 months and
nice
and built it. It was carpeted room at the time. We took out the carpeting, put in hardwood. Had to take all this stuff apart, store it someplace.
Yeah.
Put in the hardwood and put it all back. It's pretty impressive. I'm hoping that when we move, someone's going to want to buy it with this in place. It would be a shame to bust it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a pain to move.
I wouldn't go anywhere else. It's custom.
Yeah.
It'd be tough to move.
Yeah.
All right. So when I was putting the title up that said, no, not that one. News you don't use. I mean, that's pretty much the thing, right? You guys don't use news much.
I mean, it's just, I don't think it's the worth. I think the worth is a lot less than it used to be. To run to a newspaper, I guess you trusted that source at that time. I don't think we're at a point where you can really do that. It's more so like, it's just as valuable as like the blogs and the gossip mags.
Yeah. So news media, what the old used to call mainstream media, has lost your trust.
Yeah, that's a fair way to sum it up, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. And I've never even been interested, like, period. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, just getting a feel for the way things are out there. You guys millennials, technically?
Yeah.
I don't know. they call millennials a million things. I was born in 1996. I have no clue.
You're a millennial.
Am I?
Yeah.
Do you know like what the official cutoff is? Like the age range?
I think if you're over 21 right now, you're considered a millennial, right? Because that'd be 1996, 95 would be.
We'll get the official word.
Yeah, 97 is the last year.
Oh, 81 to 97.
That's a huge group of people. That could be so many personalities.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Well, I mean, I'm a boomer. I was born in 1949, not 1849. Boomers started right after the war in 45 and ran to 64, I think. So I'm a leading edge boomer. I'm draining your Social Security. You're going to get nothing by the time you retire.
Wasn't expecting anything anyway.
But I need you to keep paying into it because that's where the money comes from to pay.
Yeah, I was expecting that.
Sorry. All right, I believe we're done. So here on the pod, I'm not sure what titles are going to come up. Okay, Bobby McRaven, that's you. You can wave at the camera.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, give me some more points.
And you see the little box at the bottom that's just a little gray box under your name?
Yeah. Sooner
or later, we need to fill that out with something. Something
what?
About you. Well, it could say, for example, it could say sportkarateradio.com, or it could say raving maniac, or it could say I don't care about politics. Whatever you want to put in there, just let me know. I can type it in there.
Could you put just like is awesome or something?
I can do it right now, I think.
I got my ass kicked in fantasy this week. This is horrible.
This is fascinating for the audio audience
and the visual audience, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's fascinating for them too. But those words are going to appear. You
don't play fantasy, do you, Dexter?
No, I don't know. See, I don't know enough about football. I did I'm doing a fantasy basketball one for the first time right now. But
who do you have on your team?
Kev, who was it? So my main guy, I think, was Russell Westbrook. I got Westbrook. Wait, who do I got? I got it up here. I know I got Westbrook. I got Melo, but he's getting dropped.
Oh man, he's already dropped, man. He's still staying on the roster though, at least.
Yeah, see, I'm like, okay, you gonna put him on a roster and he can't play? No, so that's gotta go. We gotta change that up. I'm getting my ass kicked too. I'm down 545 to 388. But I got
back, Grandma?
Dennis Smith Jr., C.J. McCollum, Gordon
All right,
Hayward.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Oh,
That's it. On the
Sorry.
show. On the
Sorry,
show.
my
phone
grandma
call.
called me.
Yeah. Okay, there's your is awesome. I got to center that up for some reason, but
Yeah, that'll do for now.
yep. There you go. So we'll work on you for one for you, Dexter, which also is. There's Dexter. So I did this, and you have an empty box right now. We'll fill out your box. By the way, my box is Snowflake.
Snowflake. You're a snowflake?
I'm a snowflake.
You're wearing the title proudly?
Proudly, yeah. Yeah, that's what the right wingers point to us whiny left wingers as. You snowflakes. Okay, happy to be one.
True.
And it had been news you don't use. We didn't talk about that much. Forced the subject toward
We
the
didn't use
end.
it.
Yep. So thanks, you guys, for being around, and we'll do this again. Well, we got a holiday weekend coming up. You guys still going to be around Sunday?
Yeah, I got to work Wednesday and Friday and Saturday.
That sucks.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it does. I'm not sure. I guess I'll give you a heads up. I can't say what I'll be doing Sunday, but you will know by like Thursday or Friday.
Okay, so we may be doing a show. It may be Bobby and me. It may be able to get Julia in because she's finishing up her the term in her class. She's taking finals this week, so she may be able to squeeze in a show. Julia's always been fun. I was hoping to get Julia and Katie on one show so that they would have some reinforcement. Which, that's why you want to have a woman on your show, because it rounds things out, so to speak.
Figure it out one of these days.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
And there goes a loud car outside, and the sun is going down. All right, I'm going to push the goodbye button on Facebook. On YouTube, but we have to utter the phrase that closes the show. You want to start it, Bobby?
Over.
And
out.
And one day you're going to be able to start that all by yourself.
Okay, it's pretty tricky.
Goodbye, YouTube.
Bye.